Hey guys, welcome to Deep Dive Coding. Today we solve the LeetCode problem of the day, that is minimum number of people to teach. So problem basically says that there is m users and some of those users have exist the friendships, and we are given that the n, that is the languages that users may know. Languages is denoted 1 to n, 1 to 3 up to dot n, and languages I is represent the set of the languages I the users know, and friendships exist, that is ui vi is the friendships of I equal to ui vi. That means ui and vi both are the friends of each other. And what we have to do, that we pick one language and we have to teach them, we have to teach some of the users so that they can communicate through each other. The people communicate like friends u and person u, and teach like person u communicate with the person v, so that like they should have they should know the common language. Then and that only they communicate each other. So if person 1 and person 2 does not know any common language, and those are the friend with each other, then they cannot communicate each other. So we have to teach any one of them or both of them. Now there is a problem, like we have to teach the minimum number of people. Okay, so let's go through the example number 1. N equal to 2, that means there is I have written over here, like there is two languages like 1 and 2, and there is also the languages array and friendships array. Languages array, from the languages array you can see that person 1 know one language, person 2 knows two languages, and person 3 knows 1 and 2 languages. So I written over here. Also, like there is a friendship, so friendship 1 and 2, the 1 and 2 friend with each other, and 1 3 and 2 3 friend with each other. And let's say let's pick the language 1. Like we if the we have to teach the language 1, so we have to find that who was the people that need the language 1 to know. Okay, so 1 and 2 is friends with each other. 1 know the language 1 only, and 2 know the language 2 only, so there is no common languages. So we have to teach language so that they can communicate to each other, common language. Then we have to teach them the common language, that is language 1, to the person 2, because person 2 does not know the language 1, but person 1 knows the language 1. And similarly for 1 3 are the friends, then 1 know the language 1 and 3 knows the language 1 too. So there is one common language, that is language 1. So we do not need to teach any languages. So they already can communicate each other. And similarly for 2 3, 2 know the language of 2 and 3 know the language 2 1 2. So there is two languages common each other, so they can communicate. So if we pick the language 1 for the teaching purpose, then we have to teach one person. Let's start the language 2. If we pick the language 2 to teach them, like 1 and 2, so 1 know the language 1 and 2 knows the language 2. So there is no common language, but so we are teaching that language 2, so we teach the first person because first person does not know the language 2. And similarly for 1 3, they already have the common language. 2 3 also have the common language, we do not need to teach any of them. So if we pick the language 2, then we have to teach one person as well. So over here, whatever language we pick, like language 1 or language 2, we have to teach one person only. But the second example, let's look into the second example. Okay, so over here given that n equal to 3, and that means that there is three languages, that is 1 2 and 3. So person 1 knows the language 2, 2 knows 1 comma 3. I just written over here from the languages array. And let's start from the friendship array for the discussion. Let's pick the language 1 to teach them. Okay, so 1 and 4 is the friends with each other. 1 know the language 2 and 4 knows the language 3. So there is no common language exist. So, and if we pick the language 1, then we have to teach both of them, so that would be the common language. And similar for the second, like second friendship, that is 1 comma 2, 1 and 2, then 1 knows the language of 2 and 2 knows the 1 comma 3. There is also no common language exist. So we have to teach the person first person, because we pick the language 1, because second persons already know the language 1. And for 3 4, 3 knows the language 1 comma 2, and 4 know the language of 3. So we have to teach language 1 to the 4, so, and because the 3 already know the language 1. And 2 comma 3, that is 2 knows the language 1 comma 3, and 3 knows the language 1 comma 2. So there is already exist the common language, so we do not need to teach any of them. So if we pick the language 1, then we have to teach what are the people, like over here 1 comma 4 from the first one, and again person 1 comma 4. So for the 2 person we have to teach them. And for the language 2, then there is no common language, so in the first 1 comma 4 we teach the language 4, person 4 to the language 2, and 1 comma 2, that is 1 knows the language 2 and 2 knows the 1 comma 3. There is also not the common language, so we teach the language to the person 2, because there is not know the language of person 2. And 3 comma 4, that is 3 knows the language 1 comma 2 and 4 knows the 3. So we teach language to the person 4, and 2 comma 3 already have the common language. So there also how many person we have to teach that, like person 4, person 2. So there is also 2 person to teach the language 2. And similarly, if we discuss the language 3, then language 3 we have to first teach the language 3 to the person 1. Let's write it over here. Person 1, and over here also not common exist, then person 1, and 3 comma 4, 1 2 3, that is person 3, and there these 2 3 have already common language exist, so there is also 2 person. So whatever language we pick, there is only 2 person to teach them, so there is answer is minimum is 2. So from this diagram what we can say, like insights is from this diagram, observation is first of all we have to know that the languages array fast lookup, so that we can immediately say that whether that person know the no particular language or not. So for need fast lookup at the languages array. And second thing is, okay, so we only need to, here you can see that we do not need to consider these pair like 2 3, because they already know the language. We do not need to teach any of them, so we do not consider them as well. So only consider those people, those friendship whose does not have common language. And third thing is, we pick each and every language, like iterate over the language that is 1 to n. N is the number of languages, 1 to n, and where the 2, okay, 1 to n, and pick a language, pick a language and see how many people already knew it. Okay, let's in the first go you can think of that this is a graph problem, but if you closely look in this statement, that there is transitivity, there is not exist for transitivity. Note that the friendships are not transitive. That means you can say that if it not transitive means x is if the x and y are the two friends and y and z are the two friends, then it does not mean that the x and z is also the friend. So there is no transitivity. So this is not the graph problem, because it's not dependency with each other, like there is not long dependency. There is, if you only consider the friendships of each other, like friendships, then it will fine for the execution. So what we do, we are try to normally code it. We are not using the graph. So let's start the coding. We can understand eventually. So let's m equal to languages dot size. Now let's convert it. Convert each users, like we has the language array, so that we can first look up language list into set for first lookup. Now for int I equal to 0, I less than n, not n. That is, we are iterating over the language, then m and I plus plus. Okay. And for int, that is language l, languages of I, that ith users know the language. So we have to define a vector that is consist of unordered set, vector of unordered set int, and that you can name as user language. That will take the m array. Okay, so user language of I dot insert, that is it. We are just hashing the each user knows how many languages knew it. Now find all users in compatible format that does not know any common language. Compatible friendships. That means those users who does not know any common language but friends with each other. We are taking that unordered set of candidates. Let's say candidates. So now we go through each friendships array, each elements of the friendships, and try to see. Let's f, that is friendships, and we have to convert first. There is one base indexing. We have to convert first. It's zero base indexing. That u equal to f of 0 minus 1 and v equal to f of 1 minus, okay, minus 1. Yeah, zero base indexing, convert to zero based indexing. Now you can say that let's common is exist, so okay is initially false, and for int languages in the user lang of u, we iterate over the u users language, like whatever languages know by the u users, and try to find that whether it is exists in the v or not. Then if user lang of v dot count of l, if it is exist, if it is no v also, then both of the users is know each other, know the common language. Then we can say that this is true and break it down the loop. Now if both the users does not know any common language, then in that case these portions of code will not execute. So it okay will be the false, then okay will be the false, then not okay will be the true. Then both users does not know any common languages, so we push in the candidates set that we have to teach them. So candidates dot insert. Yes, now we push those who does not know any common language, and you can say now here is the thing, like if all the people know each other, like all the people who are the friendships exist and know the common languages, then candidates set will be the empty sets. That means all there is communications exist without any teaching. So we will return simply 0. We does not need to anyone to teach, because over here uh, already all good. Now we are try to teaching each language and count how many candidates knew it already. So let's take the answers, that is int max, that means as max as infinity. And for int I int, you can see that language we are iterating over the language equal to 1, language less than equal to n, and language plus plus. And let's say already new equal to 0, and we iterate through the each users which is present in the candidates set, candidates, and if user language of user dot count of lang, that means we are over here we are iterating over the language, and over here we are also iterating over the users, and try to check that users know the language lang, that is initially it is 1, and if it is no new, then already we increase the already new count, new plus plus, already new count is increases, and at the last answer is equal to minimum of answer comma of candidates dot size minus already new. That means there is let's say 4 candidates, and from that 4 candidates, if 3 candidates already knew it, so when you have to teach only 1 candidate, so that's why I subtract it. Now return the answer. Okay, return answer. Yes. So now let's try to run for the sample test case. Okay, it's semicolon start over here. Yes. Okay, spelling mistake. Another right. Yeah, it's accepted for the sample test case. Let's try to find the time complexity of it. So this will run for the big O of m, cos 0 to m, that is big O of m, and it's iterated through the languages of I. That means languages of I is the ith users know the how many languages. At max, the ith users can know the m languages, so it will go big O of n, so its total give the big O of m into n. And now also this one initialized, it will take the big O of m space time complexity, big O of this will take big O of m time complexity. And if you look into that, we are iterating over the friendships array, and friendships array have the size of 1 to 500, and you can say that m also the 1 to 500 range, so you can say that this is takes of big O of m time complexity, and it will iterate through the each user, so one users can know the all languages, so it will go at scenario at n, big O of n, and this also go up to big O of n, and it will iterate over the users. That means the languages dot length, that means of it will take big O of m. So we will look into this, that big O of m plus big O of m into n, over here also m into n, and over here also m into n. So time complexity would be big O of m plus big O of 3mn, that you can say big O of mn space time complexity. Now let's see this, what is the space complexity. We are taking the space of the over here big O of m, but in unordered set for a particular users at what scenario know the all the languages. So all languages mean the n. So this over here user lang is takes the big O of m into n space complexity. Candidates takes the big O of n space complexity. So over here you can say that at what scenario take the big O of m in space complexity. Now let's try to submit it. Let's run again because it should not give the any compilation error. Let's try to submit it. Yeah, it's accepted. Thank you guys, thank you for sharing. If you guys, if you find anything is helpful, please try to comment it out. Thank you.